You are 14 years old. You are standing in your family's courtyard. The sun is bright. The flowers are still blooming. And then men come to your gate. They look at you. They point at you. And just like that, your life is no longer yours. My name is Lady Gi. You may know me as Gi Hwang-hu, that means Empress Gi. But before that name, before all of it, I was just a girl. A girl standing in a courtyard in Goryeo. Goryeo, that is the name of my homeland, the kingdom that would later be called Korea. In those days, there was a system. It was called the tribute women system, Goryeo, that is the word in my language. Gong means tribute. Neo means woman. Every few years, officials from the Yuan Dynasty came to Goryeo. Yuan Dynasty. That was the great Mongol empire that ruled much of the world at that time. They came. They walked through our towns. They looked at the young girls. They chose. No one asked us. No one asked our mothers. No one asked our hearts. My father was a small government official, not powerful, not famous, but kind. He loved me. I could see it in the way he looked at me. That morning, the morning they came, he stood at the gate. He watched me climb into the cart. He did not cry. He just stood there still until I could no longer see him. That was the last time I saw my homeland. The cart moved north one day, then another. I did not cry. I told myself crying will not turn this cart around. Crying will not stop the Yuan Dynasty. Crying will not bring my father back to my sight. So I did not cry. I looked out at the mountains. I looked at the river. I looked at the clouds moving slowly, moving south where I came from, where Goryeo was, and I made a promise to myself, a quiet promise, in the silence of that moving cart. I will come back, not as a tribute girl, as something else. I did not yet know what that something else would be, but I knew I would find it. Dadu was enormous. That is what the Yuan people called their capital, Dadu. It means the great capital. Today you might know it as Beijing. I had never seen a city so large, the walls were so high. The streets were so wide. People everywhere, speaking languages I did not know. Mongolian, Chinese, Persian, Arabic, all of it mixing together like water boiling in a pot. I was lost inside all of it. They brought me to the palace. They gave me a number, not a name, a number. I was a court lady now. In the Yuan palace, court ladies were very low. We carried tea. We swept floors. We bowed. We disappeared into the walls. But I was watching every single day. I was watching and listening. I began to learn Mongolian, quietly. I listened to the other ladies talking. I remembered every word. I listened to the conversations in the hallways. I practiced in the dark at night. Then I learned Chinese. Then I learned the rituals of the palace, how to bow, how to walk, how to speak, so that people would not look at me like I was nothing. Language is a weapon. I understood that early. In a palace full of people who already belong, the girl who does not belong must work twice as hard. 3 times as hard. She must make herself useful. She must make herself unforgettable. Day by day, I moved forward, one small step, then another from the corner of the room toward the center of the world. That year, a new emperor came to the throne. His name was Tokan Temur. You may know him as Emperor Shang, Shangdi, that means the obedient emperor. History gave him that name later. But when I first saw him, he was just a young man carrying something heavy inside his eyes. I was walking in a palace corridor. I lowered my head and bowed. He stopped. He looked at me. Just one look. I do not know what he saw. Maybe it was my face. Maybe it was the way I stood. Maybe it was just fate, quietly without asking permission, tying two lives together. He began to call for me once, then twice, then again and again. I brought him tea. I sat near him. I spoke to him in my broken Mongolian, clumsy but honest. He smiled that smile. It was the first time in that entire enormous palace that I felt seen. Not as a tribute girl, not as a number, as a person. Later he brought me into the inner palace, made me one of his women. I want to be honest with you. This was not a fairy tale. This was a palace. There was power in his choice. There was calculation on both sides. I knew that I was not innocent. But I also knew this was my one door, and I walked through it with both eyes open. But I was not the only woman in that palace. Of course not. The emperor already had an empress. Her name was Danashiri. She came from the Ongarak clan, a great Mongolian noble family. Proud, powerful. And she did not like me. Why would she, a girl from Goryeo, a tribute girl, suddenly living inside the emperor's heart? To her, that was an insult. She made my life small. She cut my supplies. She told the other ladies to ignore me. She whispered things in the emperor's ear. I smiled. I bowed. I said, "Thank you, my lady, for your guidance." But inside, my eyes were always open. My mind was always working. I waited. Then one day her brother led a rebellion. He failed. He was killed. She was caught in his shadow. She was removed from her position. And then she was gone. I did not celebrate. I stood at my window. I looked toward where her palace used to be, and I said to myself, this is what a palace does today. It is her. Tomorrow it could be me, so I must be more careful, more steady, more still, always. Then came the day that changed everything. I held my son for the first time, Ridbechit. He was so small, so warm. He made one sound and something inside my chest broke open and then rebuilt itself into something harder, something fiercer, something that would never stop. His name was Ayushiridara, my son, my reason, my everything. The emperor made me second empress. Then years later, first empress, the highest position in the palace. I Lady Gi, a tribute girl from Goryeo. I stood at the top. In that moment, I thought of the road north. I thought of my father standing at the gate. I thought of the promise I made inside that moving cart. I did not cry. I looked up at the sky above Dadu. It was so blue, blue like the mountains of Goryeo. I had arrived. I was here, and that was enough. Some people think becoming empress is the ending. You sit in your palace, you wear your crown, you wait. That was never me. I wanted more than a title. I wanted real power, the kind that protects, the kind that lasts. I began to influence the court. I recommended officials. I shaped decisions quietly at first, then less quietly. Back in Goryeo, my family rose with me, my brother. Goryeo, he became one of the most powerful men in Goryeo. He held the court in his hands. He went too far. I knew he went too far, but he was my brother. And blood is not something you simply cut away. That is the contradiction I lived with. Power gave me armor. But armor is heavy, and everything power touches, it changes, sometimes into something I did not expect. I am not a perfect woman. I never said I was. I used what I had. I protected who I could. And sometimes I made choices I cannot fully defend. That is the truth of power. It is never clean. I never forgot Goryeo. How could I? That land lived inside me. The mountains, the rivers, the sound of my own language spoken freely without hiding. But my relationship with Goryeo was never simple. I was Empress of the Yuan Dynasty now. My first loyalty was to my son, to my position. Sometimes I protected Goryeo. When the Yuan court demanded too much, too many tribute women, too many resources, I quietly pushed back. I used my voice. I used my place. But sometimes I used Goryeo as a source of support, as a place to build more power. History has argued about me ever since. Some say I loved my homeland. Some say I betrayed it. Maybe both are true. Maybe neither is fully true. I was a woman living between two worlds. I used every piece of wisdom I had to find a path that would keep me alive, keep my son alive, in a world that never once asked what I wanted. I do not ask you to forgive me. I only ask you to understand the world I was given. Togun Temür was a complicated man, sometimes warm, sometimes distant. In the years when his empire was falling apart around him, he turned away. He found comfort in other things, other places, other people, and I kept going. I held the palace together. I watched over our son. I kept my eyes on the horizon. We were never a simple love story between us. There was feeling, yes, but also calculation. Trust, sometimes, but also suspicion. Two intelligent people on the same game board, each placing their own pieces. I do not blame him. Or perhaps I taught myself not to, because blame is a luxury. And in a palace like this, I could not afford it. What I can say is this: he saw me once in a corridor, and from that one look my whole life changed direction. Whatever else happened between us, that moment was real. The Yuan Dynasty was dying. I could feel it like a change in the air before a storm. Rebellions everywhere. Red turban armies rising from the south. A man named Zhu Yuanzang fighting, winning, taking land after land. In 1368, he declared a new dynasty, the Ming Dynasty, and his armies marched toward Dadu. We ran the emperor, our son, me. We left Dadu in the night. As I passed through the city gates, I thought of the first day I arrived here, a girl with a number instead of a name, looking up at walls so high she could not see the sky. How many years, how many steps, how many fights in silence, and now running. The grasslands were enormous, the wind was cold. We were so small under that open sky. The emperor did not survive long after that. He became ill. He died on the road of exile. My son took the throne. He was Emperor Zhao, now emperor of a dynasty with no land, no people, just the wind and the grass. And what remained of us, I watched him, his face growing thinner, his eyes growing heavier. I had nothing left to give him. I had used everything. Every piece of strength I had was gone. My son held on for a few more years. Then he too was gone. History does not record the exact day I closed my eyes. It only says sometime in those years on the grasslands, Lady Gi disappeared into the wind. Maybe that is the right ending for me. Not a grand ceremony, not a recorded date, just the wind. And the grass and silence. I have lived so much. I saw Dadu at its most beautiful. I saw it fall. I went from tribute girl to empress, from the corner of a room to the highest seat in the palace. But I was never truly free. The tribute system took me from my home. The palace kept me inside its walls. I loved, and I calculated. I protected people, and I hurt people. I was not perfect. I was only a woman who fought with everything she had to survive in the world she was given. If you ask me, was there ever a moment of real happiness? Yes, one afternoon in Dadu. The sun came through the palace roof at an angle. It fell on the stone floor. Warm, just warm, the day my son first called me mother. His voice so small, so soft, I bent my head down. I pressed my face into his hair and breathed one evening standing high in the palace, watching the sun turn all the rooftops of Dadu to gold, and thinking no matter where I came from, no matter how I got here, I am standing here. I am standing here. That was enough. If you have ever been placed somewhere you did not choose, if you have ever fought in silence, if you have ever made a promise to yourself in the dark and then kept it, then you know me. Not every story ends the way we hoped. Not every fight brings the prize we wanted. But the places you stood, the nights you survived, the quiet promises you made when no one was watching, those are real. Those count. Your story is not just the beginning someone else gave you. It is every step you took after that. Rest now. Close your eyes. You have fought enough for today. Good night.